Okay, what's going on, everybody? We are going to continue learning the life of Rabbi Shmuel Horowitz. We're up to Parak Nun Tes, Parak 59, chapter 59. So, Rav Shmuel Horowitz says it was Shavuos time, right? He was talking about Lag Boimer, now it's Shavuos. So on this Shavuos, my friend Rabbi Yisrael Odessa, Rabbi Yisrael Saba, founder of the Petek and all that, he came from Tiveria to Tzfat, and we were together for Shavuos. We did a lot of Avodas Hashem together. On Erev Shavuos, we went to the cave of the Arizal, and we were up the whole entire night, and we said Tikkun Leil Shavuos, and we learned Sipurei Maisius, and we went to the mikvah. And then I went to my house, and I laid down a bit, and they did not wake me up, and I slept, and I missed the davening. I guess he didn't go to Vesikin, which was interesting. And I had great Yisurim because of this. He felt really, really bad. And so I had to daven myself, whatever. And then we had the Sudas Chag Shavuos by my uncle, Rabbi Avner. And they did not eat until I finished davening myself. All right, then after we ate, we made ourselves happy with Simchas Yontif. And Rabbi Yisrael Dov gave me at that time the Sefer Hishtapchus HaNefesh, and also the Sefer Yemei Mornat, which is a biography of Rav Nosson of Breslov, the first chelek, the first part, and also kuntras of some of the Torahs, and I had great simcha because of this. This was like a treasure to me. Then we went back to my house, and we learned Sifrei Rabbeinu, and me and him became very, very tight and good friends, and we would start writing letters to each other. Now, all this summer after Shavuos, right, that's what he considers the summer, in the year Tov Reish Pei Beis, right, I was being oisik in Avodas Hashem and Espoidus in the shul that I learned in. Many times I would go to Meron, especially on Erev Rosh Chodesh, and I would do a lot of tefillah there and a lot of Espoidus. And I really wanted to be in Meron all the time, but it was very hard because there was not a lot of people there, and there wasn't people there like it was today. In Meron today, you go there, there's people all the time, learning, davening, living there, whatever. But back then, it was like only a few times a year, as we learned in the previous chapters. And also, I couldn't be in Meron because my mother at that time was living in Yerushalayim, and I had to watch some of my brothers and sisters, and I had to do many different things. And also I had a lot of Agmas Nefesh from my father because he was in America at the time. From previous chapters we know this. He went to America to travel to make money to become a Rav, and it was not going well for him. And I also had a letter from my father which said that you got a new father because he had a great nace. What was the nace? That he was going in the street, and there was a train car that knocked into him and basically crashed into him, and they had to bring him to the hospital, and he had to be there for a few weeks, and they had to do a surgery on him and everything, and he, obviously he healed, but that's why he had a new father, because he survived that. And also my father at that time wanted to bring us all to America, right? That also I should go to America, right? Because what's the point of being in Eretz Yisrael? Who's going to take me for a chassan? Because in Tzfat it wasn't such a Torah-dicka town at that time. And what am I going to make money from and all these things? So he said to come to America. Therefore, I had a lot of aliyahs and yuridas and a lot of confusing thoughts and everything like that. And also, my father thought that I was going out of my mind because I became a Breslover chassan and people were writing him letters that I was, obviously sheker, they were lies, but that's what they were writing him. And I had to write back to my father that no, it's not true, and people are doing these things and all this. And also in Tzfat at that time on Shabbos Chazoin was the Goyen Morenu Harav Matul Mislanim from the ear of Tiveria, and I learned with him, and he also wrote a letter to my father that I was not going out of my mind. Now, it's Erev Chodesh Av, Perek Samach, chapter 60. We're moving forward. And I went to Meron by foot, like the way I usually do. And so I was waiting for people to come, but they said that they already went. And I went by myself, and of course, like it happened many times before, Rav Shmuel got lost. He made a mistake on the way, and he was going on crazy mountains and cliffs and forests that he did not recognize at all. And he had a crazy hair of tshuva because he thought that he was going to die. And I had the svarim with me, the Shtachas and Nefesh and Likutei Tfilos. And I sat down and I learned them and I cried and I said Tfilos and everything like that. Right? He thought that he wasn't going to survive. And there was a lot of wild animals in the forest at the time and all these different things. And who knows what would happen to me if I met some Arabs now in the forest and different things like that. So there was a lot of things that were, it was different back then. Today if you get lost, you have a phone, whatever. Back then it was like he was in the forest in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knew who he was. If he dies, chas v'shalom. So I decided to go on further until I heard some dogs barking. And he went down the side of a cliff. And when I got down to the bottom of this cliff, I found myself in between sheep and goats. That was obviously somebody who was shepherding, but there was nobody there. And in the distance, there was a small little hut, but I was afraid to go there. But then I heard people talking about me, and I didn't know where. But I didn't understand where they were coming from. And then they started throwing rocks at me. And then I saw where they were, and I went there. And inside this little cave, there were two young Arab teens who were the shepherds of these sheep and goats. And they asked me where I'm from, and I said, I'm from Tzfat, and I'm going to Meron. And they asked me if I'm a Tziyoni, if I'm a Zionist. And Rav Shmuel said no. They asked him if he has money, and he said, I'm poor, and I'm going just to pray on the kever of a tzaddik. And I asked them if I could come. What's going on in the news right now? There's a lot going on in the news just because whatever, it's this morning over here with the ceasefire and different things like that. So there's a lot going on. So I'm just checking. And I asked them to show me the way to Meron. And they showed me where to go. And I went and I saw that there was natural springs there, Mayans. And I thought that this was Mayan Megiddo that they always go to when they're in Meron, but it wasn't there. So I was going, I still didn't recognize. Hashem gave me the idea in my head to go back to them and to go there. And I asked them to take me there, but they didn't want to. They had to watch the sheep and the goats, but I said, please help me. I don't know where to go. And I told them that in Meron I have friends who will give them money. A grush v'chetzi. I don't know how much that's worth, but back then it was probably worth something. Haklal, Hashem is Baruch Nasim B'libam. Hashem put in their hearts that one of them will go with me. And this was a big nace, because I was still far from Meron, about 3 hours. And I had to go around many mountains, and there was dogs on the way. And what would have happened if I would have gone by myself? We went together. They went. And every time he wanted to go back, I was like, no, I'll give you more money. He didn't have any money. And we ate charuvim and te'enim. And Rav Shmuel, of course, this is like, because like Rav Shmuel Horowitz, he always says like, and now I remember that it was the 3 weeks, it was the Bein HaMatzarim, and you don't make shechianu. and I made a shechianu, and I ate these fruits, and it was bad for me, but, whatever. And he considers that Yisurim, Baruch Hashem, at the end of this whole entire adventure, he came to Meron, and in the courtyard of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, there was a few people, and I borrowed 2 grush, and I gave it to the Arab, and he laid there for a few hours to rest. And that was that. We went to the Tzion, and we did hours of Tehillim, and different things like that, and that is what happened. That is Rav Shmuel Horowitz stuff for this week.